Hello, ladies and gentlemen of the internet. Welcome back to the MOVIEVERSE podcast show. If you're new around here, we review films in an elongated, spoiler-tastic manner. I'm just going to slap up the old spoiler alert. Oh, yep, It'll pop up in a second. Just give it. And today we're continuing. Oh, there it is. Spoiler alert. We're continuing our road to the Oscars. We're reviewing basically every film nominated for Best Picture. All 8 of them, I believe it is, this year, and we have arrived at Brooklyn. And yeah, I don't know. This is definitely one of the weaker of the nominees, in my opinion. I mean, I'm gonna try to be unbiased here, but I don't believe we're the target audience for this film. No. But that's not to mean it's poorly made or anything, but it's just not for me. But anyways, we're gonna do 2 films today, and we gotta do this one before we get to the fun one. Stay tuned for that. So yeah, Brooklyn, where would you like to start on this film?
I mean, I guess we could kind of just tell them the plot. Realistically, it's just a coming-of-age story about a young Irish girl who doesn't know what the hell she wants in life.
Mm-hmm. As most children do. Yeah, it's an Irish girl played by Saoirse Ronan, spelt this not like that. Yeah, her character is the main character. What's her name? Ellis Lacey. She's an immigrant. She moves to Brooklyn, and start
Ellis or Elish or something.
Something like that. Yes. She this is a period piece, and she moves to Brooklyn, and meets a man, and then she has some family problems back home and has to go back home, and she's torn between whether she wants to stay in Ireland, where she thought she had no future, or go back to Brooklyn, where she's starting to get a future. Yeah.
Because all it took for her to have a life in Ireland was for her sister to die, unexplainedly and kind of just randomly. That was a weird turn. It's just all of a sudden she died.
Because I think this is past the time where people...
It's almost as though it was a weird conspiracy to bring her back to Ireland.
It does seem that way, and it's even addressed here in the plot synopsis. Because I thought that was just me, because it kind of seemed like her family was sabotaging her to make her stay in Ireland, almost. Mm-hmm. And she kind of goes along with it, making horrible decisions about, dating this other guy, even though she's married to the Italian guy.
The Italian fella.
The Italian fella. You think they'll have fellas there? Fellas at the dance. I guess this takes place... Yeah, it's set in 1952, and this is past the time where people should just be...
That's when my dad was born, the same year. Awesome.
This is past, like, the potato famine, right? Why are people just up and dying in Ireland? No, I'm not sure I understand. Anyways. Well, it's an unexplained death. Do they ever even...
She just randomly dies.
Yeah, do they even address what happens?
No, sorry, not even the doctor. The priest just says, I believe she was sick and just didn't tell anybody.
Oh, yes.
Did anybody care to look? Maybe, I don't know, do an autopsy or something? Yeah, we're doing the funeral the next day so that you can't go there because you're too far away. Mm-hmm. That way when you go back...
Seemed like someone was fucking with her, and I don't know why.
The mom bury one, they keep the other, and then it didn't even work. That's why she went to bed early. She's like, I just want to say goodbye once, because I already killed my other daughter to bring you back.
And she's just such a naive young Irish girl. Why would anyone want to fuck with her that bad? I don't understand.
Obviously, in the story, the family didn't kill the sister, but...
No, but...
That is an odd theory you could propose with this.
That would make a more interesting film.
Definitely would.
But this is definitely more in the realm of romantic...
drama.
Romantic drama. I almost called it a rom-com for a second. No, there's nothing comedic about this. This is definitely, I don't know, something to take your date to if she's into artsy films, we'll say. It's a period piece set in the 50s. That's done well. Acting's all done fine. It's just, it's just a coming-of-age story, right? There's not a whole lot to it. It's about a girl. She moves to Brooklyn by herself. She gets put in this boarding house full of just a bunch of other cunts, and she's just, she has to rise above them by being the nice girl. And hey, and her life kind of plays out from there, and tragedies, and learns some shit. Like coming of age story, they're all the same, right? I don't fuck.
Yeah, she transitions from being an immigrant in the U.S. to becoming an American, and then goes back to Ireland, where everybody basically just assumes she thinks like they're pieces of shit or something. I mean, the one girl even kind of says that, or the guy says that. Says, you probably think we're all backwards or something. She's like, oh, no. I think you're quite handsome and very nice. And I'm going to fucking...
She's super polite the whole
take
damn
some
time.
pee, even though I'm married to this Italian fella back in New York.
This Italian fella. Yes, the tagline here, 2 countries, 2 loves, 1 heart. That pretty much sums it up. If that makes you want to see this, then this is the film for you. To the
If
rest
you like
of
Eat,
us,
Pray, Love type shit, then this is your film.
yeah, it kind of fits in there with a better acted,
Yes.
better made Eat, Pray, Love kind of film, you know? Like, a movie for your moms. Your moms will love the shit out of this. My mom actually did like the shit out of this. I have asked her about it. I'm like, so did you like Brooklyn? I found it kind of boring. She's like, oh, I thought it was good. It's for you then. It's made for you.
Yeah.
It's not made for me. You know, shit like Deadpool and Mad Max, that's kind of made for me. This is the opposite of the spectrum. I can appreciate it because, you know, I love filmmaking, and this is some fine filmmaking. I love shit that takes place in New York. It's just, you know, one of the most filmable cities ever. I love that stuff. Period pieces are interesting, costume design, stuff like that, you know. I'm trying to find stuff that's good because the storyline is just not. It just
Everything about it is technically good. Like, I mean, it's
technically good. Yes.
yeah. It's made well. It's very well acted.
Mm-hmm. It's just not. The storyline didn't grip me personally.
The subject matter and the plot are just not something that I was able to get into.
Yeah, that's pretty much sums it up. I think.
Actually, no, that's not true. Up to the first part of it, I guess you'd call it the first act, if you will, because it kind of breaks down
where
where
when she first gets to Brooklyn.
Yeah. That little story part is kind of cute or whatever. You know, it's not bad.
I didn't mind.
It's when
that.
she goes back to Ireland and then just randomly is like, oh yeah, you know, I just got married before I left, and even made a comment about how I think he's marrying me so that I don't just stay in Ireland.
Yeah.
And then when you go to Ireland, immediately your first thing you do is start dating some other dude. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it is. I don't know. I don't understand what she was doing. And I'm glad she fucking at least goes back to Brooklyn at the end because
That poor Italian.
that poor Italian fella. Well, at least she made the right decision at the end, I guess. You know.
And what did it take for her to make the right decision? Did it take her coming to that realization on her own? Did it take her maybe realizing or talking to her mother and her mother being like, oh, well, since you're married, you know, you should do what's right and go back to your husband? No, she doesn't tell her until after she's caught randomly by this lady who's some bitch that she worked for before she left Ireland, who just randomly wants to throw it in her face. That's what makes you realize that you're supposed to go back?
Mm-hmm. I know, right?
What the hell? That is the most insane logic and reasoning I've ever heard of. Like, how does that make sense?
When you break it down like that, it's damn, man, you fuck.
So, oh, well, you know.
She kind of just gets...
I was about to cheat on my husband with this dude and take some D, but since my boss yelled at me, I should probably go back to fucking America to my husband.
She kind of just gets called on her bullshit. That's why she, that's her coming to terms moment. And hey, we've all had that moment in our lives, per se.
Even then, if that was the case and it was just a self-realization thing that was brought forth by the lady calling her out, sure, fine. But it's not even that. She basically blames the town for being snarky and fucking...
That small town mentality. Yeah.
Because when the lady says that, she says, I forgot what this town was like, and then decides that she's supposed to be with that guy. Mm-hmm. What? Yeah, you brought this on yourself.
The message is kind of like...
She takes no accountability for it.
And she constantly involves herself with gossipy fucks, too. Like, I don't know.
She takes no responsibility for it, right? She needs to be held accountable. It doesn't make sense to me. And then she just shows up there. Buddy's all excited. You think she's going to tell him about what happened? I don't.
I doubt it.
I don't know. It's got a weird message to me, this movie. I was kind of just like, when that happened, I was just like, okay, wait, what?
Mm-hmm.
It was fine up until she went back to Ireland.
I'll agree with you there. I definitely enjoyed the first half a lot more than the second half. Because,
I just didn't understand. It didn't make any sense. Like, there was no...
If there was a message here, I'm not sure I get it.
Yeah, exactly. Like, maybe it's just because I'm not, I don't know, a woman in general, but...
I've never been a teenage girl. That's something I've never been, so... Nor have I been a teenage girl... Irish teenage girl in Brooklyn in the 1950s. That's definitely...
Who fell in love with an Italian before going back to Ireland and falling in love with the type of person that I said that I hated when I left Ireland in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
Goddamn flip-flopper.
Yep. felt bad for that Italian fella.
I know. That's what I mean. If that's the moral of the story is, like, this guy in the States almost got duped, is that pretty much what the whole thing is? Because if so, I just kind of felt like at the end of the movie, like, you're kind of a piece of shit. That was what I felt like about the main character.
Kind of.
You don't deserve to fucking have this dude being like, yeah.
I'll kind of agree with
I'm
you
cool
there.
with having you back.
And I started off liking her so much too.
Right. That's what I mean.
Yeah, because I did really like her character at the beginning. I thought she'd like this adorable little Irish girl pooping in a bucket. Like this is different, but you know she's the actress Saoirse Ronan is good. Like I've enjoyed her work before in Hannah and Grand Budapest. I know she's good. Saoirse? What did I?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. I enjoyed her acting a lot. I think she carried this film decently on her own. But you know, still, her character does take a moral loop there that is hard to get on board with, I guess. Yeah.
I don't understand it. It doesn't seem in the story to actually be any sort of push, more other than the fact that she just goes along with it. Like right when she gets there and when she first sees her friend, immediately they go out with this guy and she's just like, oh, just go with the flow, basically. And she goes, okay.
Yep. She right when she meets the Italian fella, he even comments on it. He's like, you're what's the word? And she says whatever she says. Basically means she's easy to get along with. She goes along with things. And
amenable, something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Play-Doh. You know, softer than a Tootsie Roll fruit cup, basically.
No, it's just infuriating. I just don't understand why the character would do that, in my opinion, because it seems like it's almost more when she comes to America. I understand she was trying to basically put up walls with the Italian fella, because I just like calling him the Italian fella.
So do I.
Putting up walls with them more so because of the fact that she's in a new country and doesn't really know, right? And then that one lady says the thing about if he talks about baseball and his mom.
You know, if he doesn't, then hold on to him because he's the only Italian guy in New York who doesn't. Yeah, and he seemed did he not seem like a genuinely nice guy? I mean, he could.
That's what I mean. It's almost like that builds her character, and she becomes a stronger person through their relationship. But then when she goes back, she regresses into a complete twat and just does whatever this other fucking Irish dude wants her to do. Because he keeps just saying it to her too. Even at the end when she says it, she finally stands up for herself and chooses her own thing after her boss calls her on her bullshit, and then she puts down the town for her boss doing that. Meanwhile, her boss is just basically saying listen up, you're being a piece of shit, and I know about it. Just so you know.
Boss, I will agree he's being a bit of a dick. I don't think he's in the wrong for calling her on her shit. No.
She is a lady.
She? Yes, you're right. Yeah. I don't think she's in the
weird
wrong.
Looking lady, but it's a lady.
Yeah. I think you're fucking hit the nail on the head there, buddy, when it comes to character motivation. Not that I have to agree with all character motivation, but yeah, it's like I straight up didn't get it. I'm sure there's a lesson to be learned for someone in here, just not me.
There's people that get married and then go back to wherever the hell they're from and start trying to bang some other dude.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? I'm just going to test my options. I know I just got married last week, but
that pretty much means fuck all to me now, doesn't it?
Right?
Because I'm an adorable Italian girl with blue eyes and long red hair.
And then she goes back, but he's just super excited. It reminds me of that scene in Dogma when they're in the airport and Ben Affleck's talking about how the chick comes back. He's like, she cheated on him 3 times when she was gone, like that thing. Mm-hmm. He's like, but they don't care. They're just happy to see each other. That is Brooklyn in a nutshell. Mm-hmm. Instead of watching this movie, just watch that scene of Dogma.
Yeah, I was going to say.
In fact, just watch Dogma in general. It's a much better movie.
Yes, of course.
Not better.
Yeah, I think, honestly, in a weird way, Kevin Smith does this kind of story in a more modern, realistic setting.
Right?
And if you're looking for something like this, that
even Chasing Amy's more of a better storyline.
Exactly. Chasing Amy is a story centered around love and a weird ass relationship, and a lot of dialogue, and similar to this, and it's just that's how that story should be done for a modern setting, at least, or a modern audience. Not that I hate period pieces, but
Well, it pisses me off because I was going into this, as I told you before, wanting it to be my Philomena of this year.
Philomena, yeah.
Yeah, because as I was surprisingly thrown off by the fact that I loved Philomena last year. I went in hoping that it would be that, but it just isn't. It started out that way. I was going to say, like, because I actually thought with the, the
showed a lot of potential
at the beginning. Yeah, there's a lot of potential for it to be good, and then they completely railroad their own character, in my opinion, because I can't feel sympathetic for this girl dealing with her bullshit problems that she creates for herself by being a moron.
Yeah, and since she doesn't really have many anchors, like, friends or whatever in this story, though she kind of does with her sister back home through the letters and the voiceover and stuff, she's kind of left up to herself to make stupid-ass decisions, and no one calls her on it until, the third act, right?
Well, the funny thing is, like, I feel like if you made a movie like this about a dude because most of the romantic dramas, it's generally the formula, if you will, is generally that, girl and guy fall in love, the guy does something stupid, does something brave or heroic or whatever to try and win her back, or romantic to win her back. End of the story, they fall in love, yada, yada, yada. Or she makes him change, gets what she wants, yada, yada, yada. In this, it's literally just they fall in love. She decides to try and see another person without telling him or even responding to his letters, let alone reading them. Then just decides she's going to go back to him anyways, goes back and doesn't say a goddamn thing about the entire situation.
Yep.
So there's not a single consequence. There's absolutely no stakes, if you will, other than her personal drama, which, fuck you created it for yourself.
Yeah, no kidding.
Elish, or Elish.
And I started off liking this character so much, and I wish it would just went a more traditional route. But I guess it's based off a book, and they don't.
Oh, this is a book? Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, when you do things like that, your options are limited.
I just feel like that's a weird mindset, like to think that that's just, whatever.
Yeah. I know, I totally feel you. When it comes to character motivation, they do have to be, there's got to be some reason of, like, understanding there. And I'm not getting a lot from this, I'm definitely not getting a lot.
Well, I mean, if you did the same thing, the same storyline, well, as far as, the different points like that, where she makes those terrible decisions. I mean, if you did that with a male perspective instead of the female perspective like this film does, it'd be called misogynistic and all this other bullshit. But in this, it's literally just a chick that basically just wants to cheat on her husband. Goes back to Ireland because her sister died, so it's like, oh, woe is me, which, that's terrible. But the second she gets there, she starts contemplating, like, dating this guy. It doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, you're right.
It's insane.
That's pretty abrupt, isn't it? Like, I could see if there was, some push and pull, you know what I'm saying?
Well, that is, she's secretly racist, so she got back, she's like, I shouldn't have dated an Italian.
Mama warned me about them Italians. What can I say? Yeah, no, I feel you.
I guess separatist, because really they're both white. But
I think we've summed it up decently there. Like, I don't know. I don't know, man. Like, it just completely ruins the whole point of the movie for me, because that's not romantic. That's not romantic at all. That's deceptive. I don't find it romantic at all. Yeah, it is deceptive. Yes. And, there is other romantic stories that have been told from this perspective. Can I have a little chicken head? Yeah. I was going to say, if you fuck around like that, whether you're a guy or a girl, you're just an asshole. You're not, right? You may be learning something, but it's definitely not romantic. It's being an asshole. Unless it's basically, so, this happens all the time now with, like, Ashley Madison and all that shit. So it's like, this is how it used to happen in the 50s, just in case anybody was wondering. Used to have to travel the fucking immigrants would get married, and one would go back to their home country and fall in love with a dude that lives there. That's right, kids. You had to travel the ocean to have an affair back in the day. And now you just go on a website. Oh, God. My favorite part, too, when she goes back, like the guy that she's, like, falling in love with back home, when he's talking about how he's not like she thinks he is with the all the guys in the rugby club or whatever. And he says, most people think that I have it easy because I run my dad's bar and I'm going to live in my parents' house. He's like, but I don't see it that way. That's how it is. I mean, I don't know if you're just not looking in the mirror, but he offers no solid evidence for why that's not the case. He just says, that's not how I see it. That's what I mean. Okay. I would have preferred some push and pull between, because clearly this is, if you boil all this crap down, it comes to a love triangle story, right? Then there's not much pull. It's not a love triangle though, because a love triangle makes That's it. What I mean. It's not a proper love triangle because it doesn't balance the two, right? There's not enough push and pull. The other guy doesn't even know about it.
And technically, that guy didn't know that she was married either.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, it's her fault. She's an asshole.
yeah. Literally, it all 100% falls onto Elish or Elish.
Yes.
I know it's something like that.
Elish. Yeah. Ellis Lacey, a young Irish immigrant. She's an asshole. And that's the moral of the story.
Straight up.
But
she amounts to what she drops in the bucket.
She shits in that bucket. Just an adorable Irish girl shitting in a bucket. And she does talk. She does talk like an adorable Irish girl the whole damn time. So if that gets on your nerves, hey, no. All right, let's try and remove ourselves from this.
I got emotional there. For
the story itself. No, I know, I get it. This is Best Picture, right? This is why we do what we do, is because these
and
are.
Sicario wasn't nominated.
These are the best of the best, and what I was gonna say is that every year there's usually something that surprises me, right? Like Philomena, for example, or even Grand Budapest. Like I had seen that, but like it came to rewatching for me to realize that it was a fucking masterpiece. Something surprises me every year, and so far nothing has this year, and this is definitely not the one to do it. Yeah, I don't know. I think The Revenant didn't even seem like a surprise because the trailer kind of let me know what I was in for. So yeah, unfortunately this is not this year's sleeper hit. Unfortunately not in my book. But yeah, I was gonna say, to remove ourselves from the story, I think you did hit home on fucking every point there. But acting-wise, we can talk about some acting and direction, I guess. So Saoirse Ronan.
I swear to God, I think that's what it is. If I get it wrong, whatever.
We had to YouTube this girl's name to get it fucking correct, because her name is just spelled completely different than how it's pronounced. And I actually do like this actress a lot, and I think she did a really good job in this movie. It just happens her character is not, not terribly likable. Not a good person. Yeah, I mean, I personally loved Hannah. I thought she did awesome in that, and of course, Grand Budapest Hotel, like I just mentioned, was a fucking amazing movie. And she has a small role in that, but still, that's like I was trying to figure out where I knew her from besides Hannah, but yeah, she's Agatha from Grand Budapest.
Yeah, her and the protege fell in love.
Mm-hmm. She's also the main character of The Lovely Bones. If there's.
Oh, okay, yeah, I do remember that. Yeah, that was a half decent Mark Wahlberg movie.
That was okay. Yeah, it was okay.
I mean, he wasn't really the main character, but it was half decent.
She was also in Atonement, which I guess got a lot of awards and stuff. I can't remember if I've even seen that, to be honest. Yeah, and that's the majority of the films she's been in that I recognize. But yeah, I think she's a talented young actress. I just think she played an asshole in this film. That's all.
Yep, and it happens. I mean, there's a lot of actors and actresses that have done it.
Hey, you're doing your job. You're following a script. Nailed the role, right?
Some people even do it like once in this or both in the same movie. If you look at like people like Tom Hanks and Halle Berry, I mean that Cloud Out Atlas or whatever, that's just horrendous garbage.
Were there multiple people in the same story? Yeah. That was Cloud Atlas is fucking weird, man. Anywho, let's see who else we got. Is there any of the other people you recognize really besides the priest, of course, from Hot Fuzz?
And the big bushy beard.
The big bushy.
That's awesome.
That guy is awesome. I can't place the actor's name right now, but the priest from Hot Fuzz, I'm sure. Surely some of you will know who we're referring to.
He was the captain. He was the captain in Hot Fuzz.
Yeah. Okay. Who else do we got? Father Flood, is that him? Yes, that is him. Yeah.
Jim Broadbent.
Jim Broadbent, yes.
He's awesome.
I liked him in this as well.
Yeah, he was good. I mean, nobody did a poor job. I mean, it's a technically well-made film. It's well acted. Yeah. There's not really anything from a technical aspect or anything other than really
there's nothing bad to say about it.
There's a conceptual problem in the character development.
Not a technical problem. Yeah.
No, not at all. Everything else is actually very well done. If there was an actual resolution where she wasn't just an idiot, they just changed her mind. It was like, you know what? You called me on my bullshit. I don't want to really be known like that here in Ireland, so I'm just going to bounce back to my Italian dude who doesn't know about any of this.
She needs to learn something, goddammit. She needs to say, fuck you, Ireland, and that's why I'm going back to Brooklyn. Or, stay in Ireland and I'm going to prove you all wrong. I don't know. Learn something, though. That's all.
There's no real self-discovery, if you will.
I hear you there. I think it's directed decently. The director, John Crowley, his name. I haven't seen any of his work, to be honest, besides this, except he directed 2 episodes of True Detective, Season 2.
Oh, okay.
So that's the only work I'm familiar with. He directed Closed Circuit, I guess. Is Anybody There? Intermission. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't seen any except for the True Detective and this. And I think he's a decent director. You can definitely tell he comes from theater. I guess that makes a lot of sense, actually. He's got a buttload of theater credits on his old IMDb page here, so that makes sense. You can definitely tell he has a knack for theatrics.
Oh yeah, it's definitely, like I said, it's definitely done well. It's just unfortunate that for some reason in this romantic drama, the main character turns out to just be a deceiving little conniving butthole.
A sandy little butthole. Yeah, it's a damn shame because I like the actress and I started out liking the character, but yeah, but technically it's well made. I don't know. I don't know. Is there anything else you want to add? I think that hits the nail pretty much on the head, right?
Oh, I mean, if you're an older lady, I mean, who knows? Maybe you'll like this. I'm hoping some people at least come out. I haven't read any other reviews or anything for it, but
Me neither.
I'm hoping some people come out saying at least noticing the same things I'm noticing. Otherwise, be like Mugatu, feel like I'm taking crazy pills. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But I don't
feel like I'm taking crazy pills. Everyone's freaking out.
But because I don't know, I feel like it's blatantly obvious that this is what happened, this is what is happening in the film as far as the character's development, and I don't know, it just didn't strike well with me. I thought it was kind of a boring story.
Yes.
Like I said, I do think other things have done it better.
Mm-hmm.
So
other things have done the same message better.
I don't know if I would say that it doesn't deserve to be in Best Picture category necessarily, just because technically it is. I do think it is a Best Picture contender, except for the fact that the entertainment value of the movie is just not there for me.
Yes, that I would agree. And I know that movies aren't always supposed to be just pure entertainment. They're supposed to make you
There has to be some. I mean, they're
supposed to make you think and feel and blah, blah, blah and all that stuff. But I know, but this doesn't do enough of any of that, unfortunately. There's, I don't know. It didn't grip me. Boring is, unfortunately, the right word for the plot.
If it's supposed to make you wish the little Irish chick ends up with herpes, then mission accomplished.
Mm-hmm. Or if you want to see her just, her big old blue eyes just...
not in real life. Not in real life. I meant in the character.
No, of course, the character.
Let's get that. I just want to make sure
Yes.
I'm not that emotional about this.
I'm pissed at Brooklyn, goddamn. Yeah, I don't know how wide a release this has got, but I know it was only made for apparently $10 million, which a period piece for $10 million. Props to that. I dig that. So there is some. I know this movie is made for somebody. It's just not really for me. I don't know. I think it deserves maybe a nod for writing. I guess if it's a book, an adapted screenplay nomination, that I can see because.
Like I said with The Person, I mean, normally you see just kind of fall in a line.
All dialogue is done, decently sharp and all that kind of stuff. So. I can see that. It's just unfortunately not my movie of the year, or unfortunately not even close.
No, not anywhere close.
What would you hit this with a score?
Well,
Brooklyn.
Because I mean, realistically, like I said, due to the fact that the technical aspects of the film are all done extremely well, and it's everything.
It's not unwatchable.
It's just the one issue conceptually with the main character. But since it's the main character. And the film's kind of dry to begin with. It completely took me out once that happens. And so I think in the scope of, the Best Picture nominations, it's going to have to get my lowest yet. I'm giving this a 6.5.
Mm-hmm. That's actually exactly what I was going to say. 6.5. And a lot of that comes from it being a technically sound film. Because, in the hands of a lesser director, I'm sure, or someone with less... knack for dialogue, even this could have fallen apart. And like I said, it is for somebody, it's just not for me. The 6.5, that sounds low. Don't mistake that as this is a garbage, unwatchable film. It's not that by any means. It's just, watch the trailer. Tell me if that's for you, and then you can pretty much tell right away that if this is gonna be your cup of tea or not. But yeah. I think that
Tony deserves better, Elish.
Tony deserves better than he introduced you to his parents. You know how crazy Italian parents are. He took a big risk there, man.
Huge risk. What is wrong with you?
Gotta respect that shit. Anywho. So that has been our review of Brooklyn. Also a deceptive name. You might think of Brooklyn might mean...
It takes place a lot more in Ireland.
Yeah, I was gonna say. It's more of the idea of Brooklyn than it is taking place in Brooklyn, which is weird. But anywho, that has been our review of Brooklyn. Thank you for joining us. 6.5 from both of us. So what we have left is we have The Revenant and Bridge of Spies. Is that it? And then a Mad Max, maybe a Mad Max re-review, if you will, because we did that many months ago now. But,
Many months.
Yes, the Oscars are about... a week and a half away, something like that, and we're gonna try and get the rest of them all wrapped up in time for the Oscar night. And basically, we do this just to give our opinions on the best features of the year. And hey, every year there's something that just like, why was that nominated? This has been a review of Brooklyn.